Alright, let's see if that's working. Right, that is. Right. The question is that working? I don't. Page is frozen. That's what you want to see. And I'll just change it from my computer. Maybe I can. Making it load quite a bit. All right. That might well be live, guys. And I'm thinking the quality of this might be a bit poor. But I'm watching this on my computer with delay, so perhaps not. All right. You know what? Just hang on a moment, guys, before I start. I don't think anyone's here anyway. But, I mean, we have got someone, so maybe I could just, you know what? Probably doesn't even matter if people here. I can just start and go from there. So, making sure everything's set up. Never done a live stream before. I attempted one, if you saw, a couple minutes ago, and that kind of went a bit poorly, but it's fine. And I think if you give me a second, I'm going to check that my phone is not being crap. And I think that is good. I think so. All right. Well, in that case, we can begin. And firstly, I'm going to begin by changing the title. So apologies if you have to sit around for that. All right. You know what? Let's just come up with like some weird. This is unbelievable. Doctor Who: The Reality War review. All right. That should have changed it. So, yes, Reality War. This is a primitive live stream because I can't connect to my computer or anything through my phone. So, essentially, I'm just gonna talk on my phone. So it might be lagging a bit. Apologies for that, but it doesn't matter. I can do an updated review after this. This is just going to be some quick thoughts. I might be a bit more in depth later, but yeah, the Reality War. It probably makes sense to go from the start, and to do that well, I am thinking to go on Disney Plus. And I reckon this is mainly just testing the live stream feature. Just do like a really quick, 15 minutes talking about basic thoughts. But to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of it. That is the unfortunate truth. And God, Disney Plus making me fill out all these random details. Because usually what I do with these, I don't watch them twice. I just watch it once, and the second time I just go back through like the video timeline and just kind of update myself as to what's happened, because I can't be bothered going through and taking notes. Of got things to do, but I probably should for this finale because there was a lot going on there. So, God, I'm getting ads on Disney. What is the state of the world right now? Do we even get a... Oh, we get a little recap, don't we? Well, we get the 15th Doctor getting taken out through a door. Very fortunate for him. And tell you what. Oh, I'm actually getting people watching, so now I can't slip up because yeah, I've got an audience to entertain. Right. Well, if there's anyone here that wants to say their thoughts, my phone looks like it's bugged out, so I don't know if you can hear anything. Maybe that's just my computer that's bugged out. Who cares? Yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, if you're in the comments. What do you think of the Reality War? If you haven't watched it yet, then it's a bit problematic because I'm kind of going to go in all guns blazing. And yeah, I'm just going to say that a lot of it was just standing around talking. And as someone who likes the classics, the fact that Omega was there for about 5 minutes, if even, just to do nothing. Well, that was a shame. Definitely a shame. Oh, I'm visible. Thank you. I don't really know. This is probably going to be a short live stream because I feel like what's happening is I don't really know what I'm doing, so I feel like I can't go in depth. But I'll try for you guys because I appreciate if you're sticking around. Yeah, the whole Rose thing. Let me know your thoughts on that. It is hard to say what we think because we don't know where it's going to go. It felt very much like a publicity stunt, and for the future of the show, it's not looking good. But I suppose if that's the wild card he has to pull to try and generate hype and get people wanting to watch more, then I think that says a lot about the state of Doctor Who right now. That Russell T Davies is having to bring back Billy Piper from 15, 20 years ago. So I'm not pleased with that, but we'll come to that because I can't even be bothered going through. Essentially, what it is it's a lot of just exposition. The Doctor just pulls some ridiculous, I'm the Doctor, and then Belinda's like, oh, okay, sweet. Unit, they're all fine. Is that it? This whole wish world, all the setup of that, just for the Doctor to say, oh, it's me, and then everyone remembers him, is just ridiculous. But I suppose you have to save time. And the finale, you're trying to cover a lot of things. And a lot of it doesn't get covered. Susan, what happened? That might be the worst, but we get our balls tickled with Susan being brought back in his mind for what? So that probably is the worst letdown. Something that didn't even happen. The fact that we didn't actually get Susan back, that was probably my least favorite. But I'm gonna say now that overall it could easily be the worst of the season. Even the Robot Revolution, that was a bit dull, but it was never going to be a big epic story. This had the potential to be a great story, but yeah, I think once you get to the bit where everyone's reunited, you get what's her name? Well, you don't just get Rose back as in Billy Piper, you get Rose back as in what's her name? The one that's in the Star Beast. She's back, doing nothing as usual, but I suppose they've got to bring the unit lot back. So much just sitting around unit. It's ridiculous. The amount of just, oh, the Rani's gonna explain her plan, and then the Doctor's gonna save the day. There's too much of that. Not enough action in this one. In the whole finale, really, there's not much action. The only action scene I can think of would be when there's like that little shootout with the dinosaurs and that cannon, which, I mean, it doesn't really generate any tension, does it? It's just a bit meh. I'm just going to really quickly go, I need some comprehensive narratives on regeneration rules. Like, does Mrs. Flood Rani get to regenerate again? Does she die? That is true. The other Rani did get eaten, which was just... That happened, I suppose. Mrs. Flood got away, and are we going to see her back again, or is it just going to be one of those things where it's another unanswered question? Probably it's not going to get answered, but hopefully Millie will be back because she still remembers things that didn't happen. Susan must be explained. That's correct. Yeah, 100% we're going to have Susan explained. And as for Billie Piper, she's Rose Tyler from Pete's World. Yeah. Well, I agree about the Susan thing. And that was really weird. I think there was way too much focus on the whole Poppy thing, particularly the ending. We talk about the 10th Doctor's regeneration being overindulgent. I still preferred that going and seeing Sarah Jane, Donna at a wedding. I kind of preferred that to this, which was just, we're going to have a long conversation about Belinda and her husband because all of a sudden, Belinda, the whole time in the TARDIS, she's actually been saying that she wants to get back home. Like that's going on. That's clever, isn't it, guys? That's just not clever. I thought that was a bit. It honestly was disappointing, and I'm kind of interested to see. I don't know if I search online the future of Doctor Who, if I'm actually going to get any. I've searched up not Doctor Who. Right. Are we going to get any? Yeah. Well, officially the show is not is yet to be renewed for a new season. No announcement made for a Christmas special. I mean, we're not getting a Christmas special. Oh, we got 10 people watching. Luke says, I don't get Belinda. Yeah, I don't. Honestly, that first episode of Belinda, if you go back and watch my review, I was excited. I thought, yeah, she'll be good. And essentially, not much to say about Belinda. The last couple of stories, I think she's been pretty wasted. There was a hint that maybe she's going to come back and we'll go to Neptune at some point, but not with this face, is what Ncuti Gatwa says. That was just... I'm sad about the regeneration. I feel like Ncuti Gatwa, maybe he's not one of the best doctors, but he deserves better. I didn't think it was a great regeneration. I'm trying to think if there's anything worth covering, because I mean, with Omega, that was, I think I already said a bit before, but that was very disappointing, because you've got to think he is, he's kind of one of the most famous villains of the classic era. He appeared in 2 stories. He's a Time Lord, so he has all of this lore around him, and it's just bring him back, and he's just this little CGI, well, not even little, but this massive CGI monster is honestly... I mean, what do you even say to that? I can't even say I'm disappointed, because I was kind of expecting it the way we had Sutik last year. So I'm going to skip past that. We can almost forget that Omega was even in it, because he was in about 2 minutes worth and it was terrible. So I'd be interested to see if people actually liked the whole Omega thing. I thought it was crap, but especially because the reveal, the end of last episode was the whole reveal of Omega, and there wasn't much to write home about here. It was just he eats up the Rani again. A random way of getting her out of the way. She'll probably return. I think it would be a bit of a waste of Archie Punjabi. That's all she got, because I thought she was very good. She's no Kate O'Mara, but as far as it goes, as a portrayal of the Rani, it was a solid one. Comments, right. The Belinda remembering Poppy scenes, at least one should have been on screen. That's true. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Like the 11th Doctor in the Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, when he has his jacket, and that's the little hint. I agree, because that one, it really sort of rewards... Series 5 rewards the rewatchers, because you can go back and you can notice those little things. I think there's a couple of things like that. So, yeah, the fact that it's all feels very shoehorned in. Look, we're going to show each instance that the Doctor was with Belinda. Look, she said this little throwaway line. Well, that doesn't reward the rewatchers, does it? Because next time we go and watch those stories, it's not like we can say, oh, that was clever, now I notice that. It's just going to be, well, this gets all rewritten, so what's the point? So I'm not keen on the way that was done. That was a Moffat masterclass, that Series 5 finale, but unfortunately, yeah, that's all we got with Belinda. I would say probably one of the most wasted companions ever, potentially. I think she had a lot of potential. At the start of the season, I was thinking, is she going to be like a modern Tegan? She was not. She was very similar to Ruby. She didn't do enough challenging the Doctor for me. And yeah, it's a shame. I think Jodie was brought back due to the need to film the regeneration, and they cut a planned scene with Susan. Yeah, potentially. I would say, again, with the Susan thing, it would still seem like a bit of a waste to just bring her back for the sole purpose of helping the Doctor regenerate. And I think that's a bit of a stupid idea anyway. The Doctor, not to sound like a purist, but come on, the Doctor never needed help regenerating. I don't know why that's such a big deal now. Pretty much every regeneration he needs help, from my memory. The 10th Doctor, he was a bit of a loser about it. 9th Doctor was okay, but 11th Doctor, I'm pretty sure, like, he had these flashbacks of Amy or something. 12th Doctor, like, Nardole and was there, and some of the others, I think. I can't really remember now. Jodie, well, I mean, she was having an ice cream with her hand with all the regeneration energy, which I thought looked a bit stupid. And now Ncuti with Jodie Whittaker, and she's not even there for the actual regeneration. She's just there like 20 minutes earlier, which I think kind of undoes the impact of her being there. I kind of argue, because the Doctor is pretty much going to do the regeneration thing anyway, and then she just comes along and says, "Yeah, mate, you do what you were doing." So it's like it's a groundbreaking moment that she's there. It kind of just confirms that he was already going to regenerate. So yeah, the whole regeneration thing, it does feel a bit shoehorned. I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the reshoots. But I suppose for Ncuti, if you're going to get a story to regenerate in, you're saving the day and you're not wasted, I suppose. So, I mean, I'm still not happy with it. But I suppose for him, it's not a terrible regeneration story. I don't think it's as heroic, because half the time you're confused. Do people remember what's going on? Is any of it real? So I don't really think it was a defining heroic moment for him. It was just, I'll do a little bit of regeneration stuff. I'll go and pop back to Belinda. And so, yeah, I do not think this is a memorable regeneration story by any means. And I've lost... Right. It was good seeing a well-written Jodie cameo. Bang on. That is... To be honest, yeah, she's not one of my favourite Doctors, but I did actually think she was probably better in that 2 or 3 minutes that she had than Ncuti was in this episode. No disrespect to him, but I thought for what was a really small cameo, she did it quite well. Bringing Billy back screams desperation. Yeah, unfortunately it does, and I am looking forward to seeing Russell explain his decision. I feel like he will need to explain it because it's not typical casting. And yeah, I've kind of said almost the shock hasn't set in of that yet, so I don't really know how to feel. I'll probably be quite annoyed when I rewatch it, but for now, I can just kind of laugh at it and say it's not ideal. But maybe if the case was no Doctor Who or Billie Piper is the Doctor, those are your two options. I suppose you have to pick Billie Piper. Is she going to get a reunion with David Tennant in the show? Because a 14th and what? She's 16th Doctor. Like, crossover would be kind of weird. And I'm trying not to think about it now because I don't like the idea of that, but it almost feels like it's inevitable. Do I have anything else to say, like, specifically on the episode? We've got what's her name back. I don't even remember her name. You know what? I have to search up her name. That's bad of me, guys. I apologize. Joy to the World. What the hell is that character's name? I'm having to search up the cast. I honestly can't remember her name, which is really bad. Anita. How the hell did I forget Anita's name? Yeah. She was in it, and just having to hold the door open half the time was... I mean, it was kind of cool seeing her back. And actually, no, that's when we got the little cut back to Day of the Daleks. That was probably my favourite part of the episode, because it reminded me of the good times of Doctor Who. And we get the 11th Doctor, didn't we? And I think it was A Good Man Goes to War. I don't know what the relevance of those scenes were. I think they were probably thinking, right, Shooty, he hasn't had a Dalek story. He's about to go. We'll just show some Daleks in one of his episodes. So I think he joins Paul McGann's the only Doctor who hasn't faced the Daleks. And he joins like John Pertwee and Paul McGann and a couple others as the only Doctor who hasn't faced the Cybermen. So he pretty much didn't have. I think this is the problem. When we look back on his era, Shooty pretty much didn't have any iconic episodes in the same way as other Doctors did, because he didn't get big confrontations with the sort of big villains. So you got to feel from there. I enjoyed the show, but it still felt very lackluster and puerile. Definitely subverted my explanations, but not in the same way it did in the glory days. Yeah, I think when we look back on this season, I don't think it will probably be something that we say that was a. Well, I don't know, because I did think there's a lot of good stories in the season, but maybe it's not gonna go down as a classic. Although I would still argue, even if the finale was disappointing, it probably wasn't disappointing in the same way as the Empire of Death, because I think at that point, the whole RTD2 was very new, and there was a lot of expectation. Could he deliver on his return? He didn't, and I think now we were almost kind of expecting to be let down. So I think that's why I personally do not feel as disappointed as I did last year. I'm almost in acceptance, which is probably not a great way to feel. But, I mean, this might be the end of his era, RTD2's era now anyway. It seems quite a bit like he has stuff planned for the future. And is any of that going to come to light? Was he, did he have 5 or 6 seasons worth of stuff that he wanted to do, but it was cut down for the Disney contract? I think there's a lot of stuff that will be really interesting to find out. And I'm kind of waiting for an article to almost go through and try and figure out what's going on. But a lot of it is just, Radio Times, Doctor Who is huge twist as Ncuti Gatwa departs. It is a weird time to be a fan. And I'm still waiting for someone in the chat to say that they really liked Billie Piper returning. I don't think we are going to see anyone who is a massive fan of that, apart from probably RTD himself. The episode, I'm just looking now, 108 minutes. So it is one of the long, 106 really. But that's got to be one of the longest episodes. I'm trying to think what's longer than that. End of Time, maybe Journey's End, but this is up there, certainly. And a lot of the time is them just sort of sitting around, talking, just going over stuff. And it covers a lot of what happened in Wishworld, but I just would have wanted more tying up the rest of the season. Rogue. What's the point of him? How did the Doctor... We needed to see him going back into Belinda's timeline and being at the hospital. We need to find out what happened with Mrs. Flood. I suppose we can forgive that because it's just setting up what's happening later. But in the giggle, when that little tooth gets taken, what's going to happen with that? There's a lot of setup going on. I really don't think this was the planned ending, because we hear Anita saying, oh, the boss wants me back at work or something. So are we going to find out what the boss is? Are we ever going to find out any of this? Or is it just going to be another one of those series where we just don't get anything answered? It's kind of scary. And, we've got people saying they like that she was the Doctor. You know what? I'm happy, because I'm glad people are happy with it. I am not, as the reality, but I'm glad that there is difference of opinion, because even though I'm not happy with it, I don't want it to be one of those things that everyone hates. I'm glad that there are people that are pleased with it. Russell Tovey would make a good Doctor. Yeah. I haven't seen him in much. I just watched Voyage of the Damned recently, actually. And yeah, he was good in that. He could make a good Doctor. I saw a couple of people theorizing that potentially he would be the Doctor and would be sort of the leading man in the War Between the Land and the Sea series, which is that seems like it's going to be an interesting watch now. Now that we could have had a Doctor cameo in it, I suppose, but that's probably not going to happen now. Let's say the Regeneration now was reshot and he'd actually done some work for the War Between the Land and the Sea. Imagine going in a year from now watching that and seeing Ncuti Gatwa just popping up in that. That would be really bizarre. So yeah, I'm not terribly excited for that. Although apparently we do have a trailer for it, which I've heard there's a trailer. I'm assuming it's on YouTube. Let's just see. The War Between the Land and the Sea. Okay, there is a trailer with it's about a minute long. I would react to it now, but I can't really get anything up for you guys because this is just from my phone, so I might react to that later. Ncuti Gatwa says goodbye to Doctor Who. That's just been announced. Thank you for everything on the thumbnail. Yeah, I feel bad for him, but the reality is, he was just not one of the best Doctors. How much of that was his fault, I don't know. But if you just look at other Doctors, some of their best portrayals, some of their most iconic performances, specific stories, I don't think he gets near the sort of really iconic ones. Tennant and a couple of his stories, or Davison and Kazran Jazani, or the second Doctor, and countless stories. There's so many of the best actors to play the part are just great in countless stories, but I don't think Ncuti Gatwa was great in. He was good in The Well. He was good in Boom, I suppose, but that's about it. He didn't really get a chance to shine. Would he have shone if he was given more chances? I don't know, because I think when he was given chances, he was fine, but he didn't really stand out. And it doesn't help that these days you can just go back and watch one of the better performances of a Doctor right after you've seen him in these stories, and then you suddenly think, God, there's a massive sort of gap between them. Maybe Ncuti Gatwa and Jodie Whittaker, there's not I think they're probably two of the weaker ones, potentially. So if you watch them back to back in chronological order, I think you don't see a massive improvement between the two, because they're very different portrayals, but I don't think either of them are great Doctors. I'm sure people will disagree with me. We're getting people talking about Mavity. That's another plot point that's... Oh, man. There's so much to cover, wasn't there? And they've just not done much of it. There was too much sitting around for me. A lot of it. Belinda goes in the Zero Room. I've just remembered that. And I thought the Zero Room, because that's from Cash of Alva, which is such a random thing. I should also say now, important for the Doctor is that we get all this stuff about how Time Lords can't actually have kids. So, a bizarre, but I guess important piece of lore. And I think it when he was talking about I can't have kids, I thought, oh, this is how they're going to tie into the whole how Susan's his granddaughter thing. They didn't do that. And in the last year's finale, in The Legend of Ruby Sunday, they mentioned something about, oh, well, the Doctor hasn't had kids yet or something. And that's how he has Susan as his grandchild, but he doesn't actually have her as his grandchild, if that makes sense. So I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but I guess when all this stuff about the Doctor having kids, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not particularly. The whole episode for me really wasn't great, and I think even it's a bit like Empire of Death, is that there was so much setup, but for me, a lot of it was just disappointing because it was either just boring or there was unanswered plot points. So this is not going to be going down as a masterclass from RTD. The question is, does it undermine the season? And I think it is hard, because I think you can go back and you can watch certain stories and they work quite well, like The Well or even Lux. But then something like Lucky Day, maybe now that you look at Conrad and he's just a dishwasher or something, and he kind of gets, I wouldn't say he gets wasted, but he doesn't get that much to do. So you think the season was mid? Yeah. it's a tricky one because you can enjoy it a lot overall throughout the series, but as soon as you have if your finale does not live up to the hype, that can pretty much just undermine everything that came before. So I don't want to. I feel bad, but I might have to agree that it's probably verging on mid. Even if I enjoyed, I pretty much gave every story a 7 or an 8 out of 10. But when your first and last stories are not good, that it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And that was what happened last year. Space Babies, Empire of Death, neither of them were great. And as a result, I kind of felt quite flat about the season. I think what doesn't help about feeling flat about the season is that it just ends kind of on a bad note with the Doctor regenerating in such a shoehorned way. Because I think a lot of regenerations, you kind of know the time is coming for the Doctor, but here it doesn't really feel like it was his time. Even if he wasn't going to do, he could have done 1 or 2 more seasons, but I don't think it would have made necessarily a huge difference to his character. But, I still feel bad, and I don't think it was the right time to do the regeneration, because I think that whole regeneration, that takes up a lot of time, because you have him talking to Jodie Whittaker, then he has the regeneration, which is another few minutes. So you've kind of wasted almost, 7 or 8 minutes just getting all the regeneration stuff out of the way. So I think that has potentially ruined the story. I'd like to see a version of the story without the regeneration and see how that would compare. Would we get answers to any of the mysteries that were set up? Probably not, but I was kind of hoping for something like the Big Bang where the Doctor goes through the timeline. We get a hint of that with him saving Belinda as a kid, but at the start of the season, it seemed like that was going to be a very important plot point when the Doctor goes back through Belinda's timeline. And here, it is just an afterthought. It's just him going and saving her as a kid, which is it's okay. Well, it's not that relevant, is it really? So I'm a bit disappointed by that. I think people just, I can't read through every comment, but people just agreeing that maybe it wasn't a great finale. How is Poppy Belinda's daughter? I don't get it. Well, you've stumped me there. I don't know. Did they say how she is her daughter? I don't remember. I suppose we shouldn't be thinking about that. You're going too deep. RTD doesn't want you thinking about that stuff. He wants you to look, we got Omega. Look, we got the Rani. That's what you should be thinking about. Don't think about any of the important stuff. Just think about all the window dressing around it. I think this is going to be one of those plots that when you actually unfold it, you're going to notice the problems in it. So, oh man, he should have been wounded by Omega or the Rani to set up the regeneration. Yep, that would have been similar to Jodie Whittaker regenerating with the Master wounding her. But yeah, I think that it probably would have felt more relevant to the story. I think here, the regeneration is almost just used as surely they could have come up with a solution that didn't need to get him killed. You look at stories where the Doctor, it was pretty much he had no choice but to regenerate, and you believe it. Kaiser and Tazani, it's set up that the Doctor, he has to die, or the 10th Doctor is like the prophecy that he's going to die, or even the Legopoulos. It's pretty clear if the Doctor doesn't go and disconnect the cables, that the telescope is going to align or whatever. I don't really remember that story, but here he just says, all of a sudden, right, I've got to channel the regeneration energy to reset time, and that feels like a complete out of the blue. It didn't feel relevant to the story. It just felt like the most random thing they could come up with. The Rani's dead. Half the Rani's dead. Well, I mean, maybe, but Mrs. Flood got away, and unfortunately, these days they always find cop-out excuses to ensure people don't die. So I wouldn't be too sure that that the Rani is dead. It seems a bit lame if we get in the run. Again, this is the problem with what RTD is doing. He's bringing back villains who we haven't seen for decades, and then not doing them justice. Even though the Rani was really good, just getting eaten by Omega, and then he also just gets just sent back into the underworld. Pointless. What's the point of bringing back Omega if that was it? So I want to know. I just want to have Russell Davis right here and interview him. What the hell are you doing with all these characters? Why did the Doctor regenerate in such a manner? There's so many questions, and it might just be a case of we don't get answers to those questions. But yeah, I hope the Rani isn't killed off. It seems like a waste when you're actually getting a good portrayal just for them to get killed off that easily. It would be a shame. I don't know how much more there is to say, because even if I do a more in-depth, more maybe structured review, there isn't heaps to go over in this story, because half of it is just people talking and explaining stuff. There's very little action. So, hang on. Yeah, there's very little action, and as a result, it's not... I think it is, unfortunately, pretty much a repeat of last year, just a disappointing finale. And the best thing of those last 2 episodes was the acting of the Rani. Yeah, she was cool. Do I think Billie Piper will be good? I don't know. And maybe with Billie Piper, because there's going to be there's a lot to explain there. With Billie Piper, it might just be similar to the 14th Doctor. Just let's do a crazy bit of casting, but we don't really want them for the future. So we'll give them a couple of episodes and then get a proper actor doing it. That's what I'm hoping. Billie Piper might be great. Unfortunately, it just doesn't change the fact that it's about the most bizarre casting choice they could have made. I think I don't want to say too much because I don't think it would be fair to Billie Piper to say no, she's going to be terrible. Just because she played Rose Tyler doesn't mean she's going to be bad now. And I'm sure there's going to be some good explanation for it. Even RTD has to give a reason for such a weird thing. Yeah, so some of you guys seem like you're happy with Billie Piper. And like I said, I think that's good. I think it's good that there's a difference of opinion. I think RTD just set up this for David Tennant and Billie Piper to be showrunners again. Yeah, that would be interesting. Oh, Billie Piper, I don't know how to feel about it yet. I even though I say I'm not happy, I'm still on the fence because it's just one of those things you can't really... It will just be a case of if she does it well, it will probably be really good. But I still don't think a Billie Piper Doctor is going to get anywhere near the greats. You know, the Capaldis, the Ecclestons, the Tennants, the Troughtons. I just don't see how that can happen. I think it's good that we'll have another female Doctor, but I think the fact that it's Billie Piper is just so bizarre. And the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of rumors about, is Ncuti leaving? Is there going to be someone else taking over? And, well, those rumors were true, but I think surely there was better options. So I want to know what he was thinking about that. I want to grab him by the neck and say, why Billie Piper? But, yeah, I suppose we have to... There is a positive to it, and it's the fact that if it was an open ending with the Doctor regenerating and we don't see who, and then it cuts and then it just ends, that would not be good. That would not be promising for the future of the series. The fact that we're getting Billie Piper pretty much guaranteed as the next Doctor, I think that's a pretty strong sign that there is going to be more series. Maybe it will be 2027, even 2028. But I think the fact that we've got that casting surely means filming can't be too far away. I don't think it's going to continue with Disney. I think Disney have pulled the plug. We've still got The War Between the Land and the Sea, but I think as far as their involvement with the actual series, that's pretty much done. We've got 2 series worth, so I guess we can't complain too much. But yeah, I think it will continue. I as weird as it is, the Billie Piper casting, as much as I'm not really a fan of it, I think it's probably the best thing we could have hoped for, because at least we're getting a new Doctor. Even if it ended with Ncuti just going off without a companion or whatever, it might have still been the type of open ending where the show would just not continue. When you're ending on such a big cliffhanger as Billie Piper returning, you can't end it there. Just imagine if that was it for Doctor Who. Billie Piper, she's the Doctor, you never see anything again. That would be terrible. So there's no way that's going to end with that. Right. Do you think Billie Piper is going to be like the 14th? So she only stays for a couple of... Yeah, like I was saying, that would be... I wouldn't mind that. Also, Rogue is still in hell. Is Billie going to save him? Yeah. But at the same time, is Billie going to reunite with Susan? That is the question. And you know what? Unfortunately, Billie Piper, good actress, right? No problems there. But I do not think a reunion with Susan would be a massive moment for Doctor Who. I don't know if I could see her pulling that off. I think you need a Tennant or a Capaldi for that. I think that's a very big moment. So I'm almost scared for that Susan reunion. And we don't have much time left. I mean, look, the reality is Carole Ford isn't getting any younger. So I think she's about 80 now. So they really, if they are going to do a reunion, I hope that's been sorted. But also, maybe if the finale was reshot, did they have to cut a scene of the Doctor and Susan getting reunited? I don't know, but I'm just hoping. Susan is the top priority for me at the moment. Billie Piper and all that, it's weird, but just get that Susan, just get that cameo, just get that reunion scene done, because you can't bring her back for the Interstellar Song Contest and that's it. We need more than that, guys. I really hope that because if that is her last appearance in the show, just her being the Doctor's mind, it would be awful. It'd be terrible. The return of RTD promised much, but feels as disappointing as the previous showrunner, out of ideas and or constrained by Disney contract and possible season limits. Yeah, it probably is about as disappointing as Chibnall. I think when the series was good, it was really good, probably on a level that Chibnall didn't quite get to. But yeah, I think the reality is when you're judging a season, you kind of the final taste in your mouth, I suppose, is that finale. And if it's not a good finale, then that does kind of ruin things. I'd say series 2, if we go back, which has Billie Piper, of course. Maybe that's not the most consistent season, but it has a good finale. So I think a lot of us just remember series 2, by the Dalek and Cyberman finale. So I think that it is always going to be the case that the finale is the make or break of the season. So I think a lot of people now maybe aren't going to be keen on it. I'll look at a couple more comments, but I'm just going to go and see on the timescales if this has an average rating. Oh. Average rating. It's only granted it's only had 6 votes so far, but the average rating is a 5.5 out of 10, which is that's pretty low. That is okay. We're probably also coming to the point where I should say my ranking out of 10 for the story, which I've been trying to avoid because I don't really want to think about the fact that I have to give this a rating because it was such a bizarre one. In some ways, it kept me entertained, but if you don't deliver on promises, that's always going to be a big problem. So, initially, for now, I'm going to say probably... I don't think it could be above a 5 or a 6 out of 10, unfortunately. I really don't. I'm not going to be harsh and say anything below a 4. But again, on a rewatch, I think the flaws will stick out more. So for now, I'm thinking I might say a 5 out of 10, which I feel bad about because it will be the lowest rated story of the season for me, and not pretty much at the bottom of his era. I almost might have preferred Empire of Death in some ways, which I know sounds crazy, but I didn't hate it as much as other people. Yeah, this is tell you what though. even though it's got an average rating of 5.5 out of 10, someone has just given it a 1 out of 10. So, yeah, that's not ideal. That's probably why. If you've just got people tanking it with 1 out of 10s, that's obviously going to give a low rating. So, I'll come back to that later. I'm not going to judge the whole community ranking based on that alone. Right. What if Rose was the Doctor all along? Maybe. Why not? At this point, genuinely, why not? It's Billy with Susan would be hilarious. Yeah. Well, I am hoping that doesn't. Well, it will happen, won't it? We will get them together. How much is Billy going to do? I'll give her a mini series. That's fine for me. I'm not gonna give her any more than that. Weirdly though, I think she's more likely to. I think I could easily prefer her to Ncuti Gatwa simply because I don't think he set the bar that high. But we'll see. Yeah, too much sitting around in Unit HQ. I agree. You have a large. I'm gonna check now. Right, go through the timeline. Doctor gets Belinda. We're about 8 minutes through, and when do they get to Unit? Okay, 9-minute mark. We'll say they get to Unit. How long until they leave Unit? We're going past 10 minutes here. Well, until the action starts at Unit HQ, you have about 12 minutes. 12 minutes of just sitting around at Unit, just going over plot points in a fairly unengaging way. We get the Rani coming in, and I suppose we get her reunion with Mel. How do I feel about our reunion with Mel? You know what? I'm going to be fair. That was probably one of the better elements of the story. When the Rani has that interaction with Mel, I actually thought it was quite good. It seemed very in character, the way she was dismissive, but pretty nasty towards her. So that is, again, that is why Archie Panjali was a very good Rani, because she completely sold me on all of that. I did believe that she was a later incarnation of the Rani. I believed that this was someone who was once played by Kei Samara. So, yeah, that was probably the only good thing to come from that massive conversation. But yeah, if you just go through the timeline, you notice half of this is just set in Unit HQ. I liked all the stuff when Ruby was watching like that blanket that they had getting smaller and smaller, and she was the only one who remembered. But again, I feel like there was more to happen there. I don't really know why that was the case, why she was so special. They probably said why Ruby in particular could remember all these things, but the trailer for War Between Land and Sea looks like it's getting dark. This is part two of the series. You have faith, and I hope I do too. I will watch that shortly. You know what? I suppose I could watch it now. I'm going to be probably pretty silent, but there's not heaps more to say on the reality war. So, we can talk for a couple more minutes, but I might just go through that trailer, see my thoughts. Oh, I've got to mute that. All right. You guys missed Ncuti already. Yeah. Weirdly, I do too, because I think the thing that we have to remember, even though I say he's not one of my favorite doctors, that does not mean he is a bad doctor. It just means that the bar is here, and maybe he's just a little bit lower than the sort of bar of the top doctors. So, yeah, it is sad that he's gone. And I mean, I wasn't alive when Eccleston was on screens, but I suppose this is probably what it felt like for you guys when Eccleston left. But I suppose with him, you kind of knew he was. I think it was announced within the first couple of stories that he was leaving. So this is maybe a bit more of a shock for people. I think there was a lot of talk about the fact that the Doctor might be going. So I was kind of expecting it. And again, with the Jodie Whittaker stuff, I'm sure that was leaked pretty early on, along with the Fugitive Doctor return. Again, the Fugitive Doctor return, was that ever going to lead to anything else in that brief cameo? I thought maybe the 15th Doctor would regenerate into her. I probably would have preferred that, to be honest, because I don't want it to be a pre-Hartnell Doctor. Don't like the idea of that. Right. Just throwing out that Anita is my favorite thing to come from all Doctor Who. I'd be interested to know why. Yeah, no, she was good. She's a good character for sure. I feel bad that I completely forgot her name, considering well, she's in 2 stories now. But right, I don't think I've got heaps more to say, so I'm gonna say that for now it's a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna say I'm gonna sit on the fence. I don't want to because I feel like if you go a 4 or below, you're saying it was really a bad story, or a 6 or above, you're saying it was in the realms of a good story. I don't really know how to feel about it yet because it was quite disappointing. If I rewatch it, maybe expecting things, I'll say, oh, it was actually a pretty good story. I think I will probably not like it though, mainly just because Omega's wasted, and because of that, I am really tempted to give it like a 4 out of 10 or something. But yeah, we'll get into the trailer, and I feel kind of bad that I can't. Put it on for you guys as well. But I suppose if you want to get it on for yourselves on another device, then you can do that. I'll tell you when I'm about to start it. I've just got to get it up. All right. The War Between the Land and the Sea. I am starting. I don't think you have to sync it with my reaction. You'll probably know what's going on. But I am starting now. The first time I watch it, I'm probably not going to say much. But I can go a bit more in depth with it. And now. Russell Tovey. So it's quite political. So is she a sea devil then? Okay. Okay. Interesting is the word. Do we actually see any sea devils in their proper look? I don't know if we did. But you know what? I suppose it looked all right. It did look more adult, and I think that will be interesting. It looked good, obviously, with that Disney budget. Maybe this is the last time we're going to get really, really good looking Doctor Who. I mean, good that Kate Stewart's back, and I'm hoping that UNIT are a bit darker. That would be nice. I can go a bit more in depth with it. If anybody has any thoughts on the War Between the Land and the Sea, feel free to say now. Yeah, I haven't got. You know, I've got my. I was trying to get OBS to work earlier, but I couldn't. So I said, "Oh, I'm just going to do a really quick on my phone live stream." So in future, the live streams are going to be a bit better than this, but it's fine. Anita is very much just a character involved in my life. Travel a lot, so miss people. I feel like she was everyone I've left behind. So just wonderful person, yeah. I respect that. War Between Land and Sea is tortured with Disney budget. It looks like it. It does look quite dark, so I'm interested. I'm interested in it. So, do we know how many episodes that is? Is it 6 or 7 or 8 episodes? I don't know, but all right, we'll go a bit more in depth with that. Anybody else got any thoughts on it? Looks like a love story. Don't know about the Meg's love. Yeah. We await future live streams, please. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll we can get some organized in the future. For now, that was quite loud. I don't know why. I wonder if the lighting, by the way, this is random, but I wonder how the lighting's done. Because when I started this, it was quite dark. Because in New Zealand, before we go on to the War Between the Land and the Sea thoughts, in New Zealand, for me, I've been used to not waking up, for watching the stories 7 p.m. at night. It's great. You have your dinner and you just watch the story, do the review. Perfect. I had to wake up 5:45 in the morning, which was quite an adjustment for me. I don't know. Are you people? If there's anyone in the UK watching this, or anywhere else in the world, what time are you guys waking up for this? Because as a New Zealander, I recognised that I was very lucky to be watching it at sort of the prime time. Certainly back in the days of watching Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, Jodie Whittaker, it was usually we would have to wait a day later, and it would be on Sky TV, so you'd have to record it and then watch it, and you'd have ad breaks in it as well. So, the fact that I've managed to be getting it at a great time is very lucky. But today was earlier, so that's why the lighting might be a bit weird, because it was very dark when this started. All right, well, that was a bit of a ramble, but yeah, so I wish you guys could see this. Okay, I can't bother setting it up now; it'll take too long. But essentially, I'm starting the trailer now. We get some water. Makes sense. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do like a completely in-depth thing. I'm not even listening to the audio. I'm just going through the shots. Right, 6-second mark. This is ridiculous. Is that even a Sea Devil? It's like a kind of Sea Devil thing. It actually looks kind of cool, but I don't know if we actually see any proper Sea Devils. I think someone was right, though, whoever said that it is like a love story. It does look like it's going to be a bit of a love story. But Russell Tovey, I definitely think is going to be a good enough actor to be the sort of leading man. You know, I'm just looking 22 seconds at the sort of Sea Devil person. I don't know how to feel about this. I suppose it's better than nothing, but I don't know. I'm not totally excited for it. I'm glad that it will be something to watch, but I don't know if I'm super excited. Right. I had no idea my guy was from NZ. Well, I don't know if my Kiwi accent necessarily comes through. I don't think I've got as much of a Kiwi accent as other people. I kind of just talk with like a mix of. Sometimes I almost think I sound a bit British, like the words I use. But yeah, I don't. There you go. You've learnt that I'm from New Zealand. So yeah, kia ora, bro. Cheers, mate. UK Wednesdays for live streams is my vote, please. You don't need sleep. Yeah. Well, live streams, I can try and get them done in the future. I mean, I think next couple of weeks is pretty busy, but fairly soon I have a little break, and that's when I'm going to be getting to work on some of the Doctor Who mysteries, because the latest Doctor Who mysteries with Who Was the Rani, there was a little next time trailer at the end of that. So if you've seen that, I'm going to be starting to work on that video. My plan is maybe try and do 2 or 3 Doctor Who mysteries at once, and then I can kind of release them in fairly quick succession. I don't want to have massive gaps between episodes of that, because I kind of want that to be my thing, the Doctor Who mysteries. I feel like I can do it quite well. So in terms of live streams, I don't really know what to do. I can't do live stream reactions anymore. It's a shame I'm doing it so late on, but I suppose it's worth doing it for the finale. You need sleep. Very important for the body and soul. That is true. Do I need sleep? Do I not? Well, for the live streams, I'm not going to have sleep, guys. Because, I'll get a little bit of sleep so I can actually know what I'm talking about. But if I have to get up early for them, it's fine. So next year, if the War Between the Land and the Sea is at 5 in the morning, then I'll get up for it and I can do a live stream, and might be a bit of a killer, but it's fine. Matthew Wallace, thank you for the $1. That is big fan of the channel. So I've been told by him. Yeah, good lad. Appreciate the $1, mate. It will go towards the channel, I'm sure. Right. I don't think there's heaps more to sort of say about this. Overall, it's... I think when I rewatch it, the flaws will be more obvious, and things like I think ultimately things like the Omega being wasted are just inexcusable. That is the reality of it, especially when there's all the build up. I suppose we're still waiting. The one who waits was Sutek, and Omega is, I don't know what his catchphrase was, but there's still the boss of the meat, the boss of Anita. There's imagine a Mrs. Flood with the boss. That would be a bit crap, but I think the boss will be, right, who's a character who hasn't appeared for 40 years? The boss will be Monarch from Force of Doomsday. It's not, but it will be something like that. It'll just be a villain from the 80s or something. Final question, is today Saturday or Sunday? For me, today is Sunday. It's a Sunday morning. For you guys, and you know what it is as well? It's June as well. So you guys, you're still in May. You're watching the finale in May. Now, New Zealand, we're ahead of you guys in all respects. And it's Sunday for us. So it's a Sunday morning. And yeah, I think that probably wraps things up. How long have I been going for? It's about an hour. I'm surprised that we've got 20 people watching. So everyone that's watching, I appreciate it. James of the Time Lord, you can't tell people that, man. We don't want RTD knowing that. Enjoy your snowball fights. You know, it doesn't snow much here in New Zealand, but... Well, actually, no. Well, it doesn't snow much here where I live. Certain parts of New Zealand, it snows a lot. If you're a Doctor Who fan wanting thoughts and you've just come into this, you're probably thinking, what the hell's going on? But yeah, final thing to say is that, there's not many snowball fights where I am, but certain parts of New Zealand there might be. So if any of you guys are going to have snowball fights, enjoy those. This is pretty much it. I feel like usually with my videos, I end up just rambling for the last couple of minutes. Although... Tell you what, I did a reaction to that ending, a 2-minute one, and it's got 45 comments, and it's got a lot of dislikes. So I imagine a lot of people probably aren't happy that I've said Billie Piper maybe isn't a great character, a great actress to be in it. Check out my reaction, my initial reaction, because I was probably a bit more harsh in that one. Are the comment? I'm gonna look. Are people agreeing with me in it? Everyone's saying it screams desperation. People are intrigued but annoyed. Someone loves Billie Piper. They've got a crush on her. Fair enough, mate. Well, that's pretty much everything, guys. I think. Can we get a joke? The joke is that this series. Was maybe not the best series. It's all wrapped up now, and a lot of unanswered mysteries. This is not a joke, but this is my summarization of Doctor Who Season 2. It maybe didn't live up to the hype, and, you know, it's a shame, but I think we're all kind of used to it at this point. So, Doctor Who Season 2. What's coming up next? I'm going to be revisiting my tier list. At the start of the season, I did a tier list where I pretty much... my computer's making a bit of noise. I did a start of the season tier list where I had no knowledge of any of them, but I just based my rankings on the names of the episodes pretty much. So I'm going to be revisiting that, seeing how poorly it's probably aged. I'm pretty sure I put the finale in like A tier or something, so that will be an interesting one to do. That will maybe be in a couple of days. It might even be later today. We'll see how things go. But yeah, overall, guys, really quickly, put your thoughts overall for this episode and for this series, whatever you want. What did you give it out of 10? I'm going to say this episode for me, 5 out of 10. And the overall series, initially I'm thinking overall probably a 7, just because I think, you can have good moments, but if it doesn't all tie up really well, then that does kind of leave you on a bad note. So, knock knock, who's there? Doctor, the old classic joke. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything from me. And 10 out of 10. Well, glad someone loved the series. So, yeah, thank you guys, and that is it. So now I'm probably gonna have to take 10 minutes to try and end the stream. 8 out of 10 minimum. You know what? While we're here, and you shill morons love this shit. Well, there you go. I don't know who he was referring to, but yeah. I'm gonna see if I can end the live stream from my laptop because my phone is crap. I probably can't actually. All right. Well, I'm gonna go out a shot, guys, but you can still hear me while I stream. Thank you all. I appreciate the support as always, and I'll see you. I've got to do that, right? I'll see you later.